The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the Radio Lex app on your smartphone device to listen to us anywhere in the entire world. Amber Turner and I are both broadcasting from the Deborah Hensley Studios here at Radio Lex on North Limestone. It is May the 6th, 2021. We are just a couple of days shy from Mother's Day, a very important day, a day that means a lot to a lot of people. Amber, how are you doing?
I'm doing a lot better. The station got some new headphones, and I feel like I am just submerged in sound right now.
They look very nice on you. You know, I don't use the station headphones because I use my own. I feel a little bougie when I've got these headphones on. What are these called?
Bose?
No, they're Beats.
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 Excuse me, I got my B's wrong.
But it is Mother's Day this Sunday. A very exciting time for a lot of people. Mothers are a champion for a lot of folks. And I am excited to go home this weekend and spend some time with my mom. It's always a fun time to just go home, spend some time with her. I don't get to see her all that much. Mother's Day is one of those weekends that I like to sit some time out to go visit her. Are you excited for Mother's Day this weekend?
I am. So I have to ask, have you picked up your mother a gift?
You gave me the idea the other day, correct? Yeah. Which was, well, I don't want to say because Mom may be listening. But yes, I plan on getting that tomorrow before I leave.
Okay.
Yes, just before
that should be a hit.
Yes.
You're welcome, Addams Mom.
I think you gave me a recommendation last year, too, and it was a hit.
Probably.
I grew, was it sunflower seeds you told me to buy her? Or was that something that I came up with on my own?
I think that's something you came up with on your own.
Yes. I bought her sunflower seeds and they grew like a beanstalk.
I think I said you should plant something together.
And we did, and it was a lot of fun. But a lot of moms throughout the years, there's a lot of famous moms that people, when you hear about mothers, you think of, okay, my mom's like that, or I wish my mom was like that.
Yeah.
And we get a depiction from television of what moms should be like. I feel like that's where a lot of our perception of what mothers should be like comes from.
Absolutely.
Television moms. Think about some of the best TV moms that you know just from the television shows that you've watched. Who are some of the great TV moms?
Oh, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and say Roseanne.
Roseanne, yes. Very brash, blunt, and controlling, but you could tell she loved her kids. Yes, that's a good one.
Oh, man, let's see. What was the lady's name on The Cosby Show?
Claire Huxtable.
There we go.
Yes, Claire Huxtable. I liked Claire Huxtable. I thought she depicted a mother really well. It was at a time when African American families really wasn't depicted in a high class light in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And the Huxtables were.
Yes,
she was a working mother. She was an attorney, a successful attorney, and she took no buts about it, Ann's buts about it from her kids.
Yes.
What about Carol Brady from the Brady Bunch?
Yeah, she was going to be my next. That's just a little too fake for me, though, so I don't think that's why I never associate her with being like, I don't want no mommy like that.
Well, there was also great mothers and grandmothers like Thelma Harper.
Yes.
From Mama's Family, played by the wonderful Vicki Lawrence. She was hilarious. Did you ever watch Mama's Family?
You know I watched Mama's Family because I've been on a hunt to try to find it on Amazon for years.
They don't have it, do they?
They don't. You have to just buy it.
Yeah, it's a great show. And what's great about that show is it's about a woman who, Vicki Lawrence, when she played Mama, because Mama in the show, her character is, 70 years old?
Yeah, she's older.
But Vicki Lawrence in real life is only in her 30s.
Yes.
And all she does is put on a gray wig and a granny gown, and she just transforms into an old lady.
And she did it with no problems.
Let's see some more famous TV moms. You cannot forget June Cleaver. She's from Leave It to Beaver from the 1950 sitcom. It didn't matter what she was cooking, or it didn't matter what hijinks her two boys got into, her kitchen remained spotless at all times. She was consistently poised. She didn't even have a hair out of place. Her makeup was flawless. And I'm telling you, she was just the quote-unquote perfect mom.
Oh, yeah.
And if you are trying to compare how you should be as a mom to June Cleaver, that's unrealistic expectations.
Very unrealistic.
Because don't you feel like the 1950s sitcoms, a lot of people, that was their dream, to grow up and have a life like that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. To have a perfect home. And Wiley always calls it, go get my slippers and my pipe. And I think that originated in that 50s time frame with those, television shows like Leave It to Beaver. And I'm like, dude, the only thing I'm going to do is hit you with these slippers and pipe.
But yes, a lot of people, they think that they want to grow up, marry a woman where they can walk in and say, honey, I'm home. And she comes out with an apron on. She's like, hey, honey, how was your day? Let me give you a nice massage. She brings out a cocktail, a pipe.
I made homemade croissants.
Yeah, she's got croissants. The children are all lined up. Hey, Father, how are you today? Look at my A on my report card. I think that's what people dream of growing up and having because of what Leave It to Beaver portrayed in the 1950s.
And that is so not reality. It would be more like, hey, honey, glad you're home. Here's some cereal. Dogs are freaking out.
What about Carol Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie?
I never watched Little House on the Prairie, and I feel really weird admitting that to a live audience, but I never got down with Little House on the Prairie.
Well, that's a shame in itself. Little House on the Prairie, it was dramatic. You talk about a show that you have an idea of what you think it's like in your head.
Yeah.
But no, it was a nighttime, primetime drama.
Yeah.
Little House on the Prairie. And if you go back and you watch some of those episodes, man, they were covering some hardcore stuff. You had one of the main characters go blind.
Oh.
Yes, you had, instead of cutting people's brakes, back now you'd cut somebody's brakes if you want them to get into a car accident. But back in the Little House on the Prairie days, you had to make the horses go wild. So you had to find something to make the horses go wild. And I remember an episode watching a couple die because their horses went wild and crashed their cart.
That's too much.
Yes, you've seen all kinds of things. But yes, Carol Ingalls was a great mom because it's hard enough being a mom in the modern world.
Yeah.
But when you look at Carol Ingalls, who had a family during those times, those olden days when they did drive buggies, that had to be tough.
Yeah, she didn't have no smartphones to help keep her kids occupied.
What about Morticia Addams from the Addams Family?
I can get down with that.
Yes, I mean, she was, of course, mysterious and spooky, a little creepy.
Beautiful.
And kooky, but she loved her kids. She always supported them. She encouraged them to go out and be their true, authentic selves. That's why Wednesday was so out there and Pugsley was so out there. She was a good mom. She was, I guess, one of the first moms to really support being yourself before it was cool to do as a parent.
Yeah.
Paint your room whatever color you want it, wear whatever you want. That's the kind of mom she was. And this is a modern day mother. What about from This Is Us, Rebecca Pearson, played by Mandy Moore? You don't watch that show, though.
I don't watch that show.
Well, she plays a really good character on TV, so I think that it was that show, her playing a mother, is what made her want to become a mom in real life, because she just got pregnant with her first child at age 33 just a couple months ago, or age 35.
Well, I think she's already had her child.
Yeah, and she's in her mid-30s. Didn't want children until she started playing that role.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but all of those moms were famous, and they were great moms to aspire to be, but we know a lot of that is unrealistic, and we are thankful for the moms that we do have out there. We're thankful for the good mothers.
Yes,
that
for
we
the
do,
good ones.
that we do have out there, because being a mother is more than just popping a child out. It is actually being a mom.
Yeah.
Raising the child, being a good mother. But Amber, the 147th Kentucky Derby was this past Saturday. Medina Spirit, which had the 6th best odds at 12-1, is the winner of the 147th Kentucky Derby after holding off Mandolin in the final stretch of the fastest 2 minutes in sports. If you blink, you miss the Derby. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
So the Derby, it was kind of back in, I don't want to say full swing, but it was the largest crowd to date since the pandemic.
Okay.
For people gathering. Remember last September, there was no fans.
Yeah.
Bob Baffert, that's a name that you're used to hearing in the Derby world. He stands alone now with 7 Kentucky Derby wins in his career. That's a record spot. Okay, so the winners of the Kentucky Derby, of course, was Medina Spirit. Second place was Mandolin, and third place was Hot Rod Charlie.
Well,
I feel like a lot of people picked Hot Rod Charlie because a lot of people like to pick based off how cool the name is.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, that's a name that a lot of people pick and probably won some money. But Bob Baffert and Medina Spirit weren't the only ones that went and won big.
Yeah.
A lot of people bet. As I said, a lot of people turned out. 51,838 fans attended this year's limited capacity Derby, as a matter of fact.
Wait, that's limited capacity?
Yes. And wagering from all sources on the Derby Day program totaled to be up to $233 million.
Oh, hush.
Did you know that's up from 85% compared to last year? Up 85%. Up 85%. Now, granted, there was hardly anybody there last year.
Yeah.
But already in 1 year, even with limited crowds, it was up 85%. Over 233 million people, or over $233 million were placed in bets for this Derby.
That's insanity.
Yes. I would say that Super Bowl's the number one betting day of the year. Derby's the second.
I would say you're more than right on that.
Let's talk about Bob Baffert here for a second. He was the trainer for this horse. It's his 7th Kentucky Derby. He just eclipsed Ben Jones, who he shared that title with they both had 6. Now Bob has 7. So his previous horses, you might have heard of some of the previous horses that Bob Baffert trained. He not only trained this current horse that won, Medina Spirit, but he also trained Authentic in 2020, Justify in 2018, American Pharaoh in 2015, War Emblem in 2002, Real Quiet in 1998, and Silver Charm in 1997. He's the GOAT of the Derby, isn't he?
I would say, gosh almighty, been going since 97.
Now listen to this. The jockey that won last year won again this year.
Well, that would say something about him.
His name, do you remember before we went off the air last year, I said that I like to look at the jockeys.
Yep.
Who, like a basketball team, I like to look at the coach of who's coaching the team. I like to look at the jockeys, who's riding the horse. And if you listen to anything that I said last week, you were a big winner because jockey John Velquez was the winning jockey. It's his record 4th Kentucky Derby victory. So a guy who's won 4 times before, there's something to that, folks.
Oh, yeah.
There is a $3 million total purse, the Derby calls it, that gets split up between the top 5 finishers. The winning jockey will receive a 10% cut of the prize money, while the second and third place jockeys receive a 5% cut. The jockey who rides their horse to victory gets a 10% cut of the prize money, but they won't take home the full $186,000 themselves. There's a 25% fee to his agent, as well as a traditional 5% tip to the valet who helps him prepare all of his gear for the race. Those costs shave the winnings for the jockey, his payday down by $55,800. So the jockey, after it's all said and done, only gets paid, the winning jockey.
Yeah.
Then this is surprising. You would think that the jockey's never going to have to work a day in his life.
Nah, that's not true.
He only gets paid $130,000 at the end of all of this.
Now, look.
And he still has to pay taxes on that.
And people would say, well, he made all that for 2 minutes. And it's like, no. You have no idea how hard this man has trained, because jockeys have to keep their bodies within certain measurements, don't they?
Yes.
Height, weight. They've got to have great just muscular ability, to be able to control their own bodies, control the horses. So that is definitely not enough money for that man.
I should have been a jockey. It's one of the only professions that I actually stand at eye level with most of the people that do it. But that was the Kentucky Derby. Ladies and gentlemen, we got lots more off the cuff coming at you live after these words. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. Amber, I've had a lot on my mind the last 48 hours. A lot of things have been happening, and usually when things are on my mind, I have a hard time sleeping.
Yeah.
And I find myself laying up in the middle of the night just watching TV. And when you are up watching TV that late at night, there's really nothing else on except infomercials.
Oh, yeah.
And infomercials, they used to be the way people advertise. They used to be really prevalent back in the day.
They used to be cool.
Very cool. But you got to think it was a really unique way of advertising.
Well, yeah, you got to reach everybody.
And because of the internet and the boom of the internet and how easy it is to advertise on the internet, infomercials aren't as around like they used to be. So where you see them is usually at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're laying on the couch and can't sleep. And so I was laying on the couch, couldn't sleep because a lot was on my mind, and I came across several different infomercials. Billy Mays here with the wonderful, or who's the pillow guy that sells
My Pillow.
Yeah, My Pillow.
It's literally called My Pillow.
There's people that stand out, like the Shimwell guy. Do you remember the Shimwell that sold the Shimwell towels?
Was that the towel that you could like put it in anything and then wring it out and then it was like ready to roll again? It'd suck up anything.
Yes. So I do love infomercials, though. What I love about them is everything seems to be $19.99.
Everything is very like 1990-ish.
Yeah. It don't matter what it is. It's $19.99. It don't matter if it's a CD. It don't matter if it's a vacuum cleaner. It don't matter if it's a dustbuster. It's $19.99.
See, though, but about infomercials, man, I love them. You know, what's the one thing people always say about me? I know every word almost to every song that come out in the 90s. Y'all want to know why infomercials?
Yes. Some of the best info commercials from that I can remember were the ones that had the music.
Pure moods. I wanted that whole set.
Well, you can't forget Suzanne Summers with her Thigh Master.
Yeah.
She, talk about a woman who revitalized her career, who rejuvenated her career. She had a career on Three's Company, got fired, then did Step by Step successfully. But she really is known nowadays. Her whole career, her face is known because of her infomercials from the Thigh Master. And you have Miss Cleo. Hey, Miss Cleo, call for your free future. Great.
Yeah, absolutely great.
Now, I always wanted to know is am I going to be talking to Miss Cleo herself, that woman that's telling me to call, or is it somebody that works for her? Or
probably somebody that works for her.
Yeah, she's just an actress. She's just an actress. Well, I want to share some of the infomercials, Amber, that I had. I have to share these with you because these are some that I heard last night, and I want you to tell me, would you buy some of these products? Because you said you loved infomercials.
I do love infomercials.
You love infomercials. You said that you were a big fan of them. So tell me if these products is something you would buy. So the first commercial that I'm going to play, it's for a wearable towel. A wearable towel. You know, when you get out of the shower, women have to put a towel over their body. Yeah, to cover their breast. Well, to cover their breast.
Cover my breast.
Well, and other stuff as well. But this is for a wearable towel. So tell me if this commercial would sell you. Now, keep in mind, it's not as appealing because you can't see it. Yeah. But tell me if it sells you just by hearing the audio.
You want to stay covered after being wet, but your towel just won't let. Robes are heavy and hot, and towels with fasteners? I think not. Now there's the wearable towel. The towel with arm openings. The wearable towel keeps you totally covered, and
you don't have to worry about it falling off or nothing anymore.
I just envision this looks like a Snuggie, like a bath towel Snuggie.
And perfect to wear.
Well, it's telling you where you can go get where you can put your towel on. You don't have to just wear it out of the shower. You can wear it while laying in the bed. You can wear it like a toga.
Totally amazing.
So that's the wearable towel. Would you buy it?
Who walks? I literally would like to know the people that did buy this because I want to know who walks around in a wearable towel.
Okay, so this next product is called the Titty Bear. Titdy, the Titty Bear. And this Titty Bear is for people who put on seatbelts, and that seatbelt's really uncomfortable in your shoulder.
Yeah.
So they created a product called the Titty Bear. Tell me if you would purchase the Titty Bear.
Does the shoulder strap of your car cut into your shoulder? Is your shoulder strap too tight and annoying? Introducing the Titty Bear, the cute little guy that eliminates all those problems. Designed to make driving more comfortable, the Titty Bear snaps onto your shoulder strap and moves up and down to remove the pressure wherever.
Let me just stop it there. So it's really cute little teddy bear that his name's Titty.
Okay.
Tiddy. It's important for me to remind people that's what I'm saying. And it's just a bear you hook on your seatbelt and it slides up and down.
Okay.
My shoulder strap used to pull so tight I could hardly breathe. Now with the Titty Bear, I really enjoy traveling again.
The patent-pending design swivels to work from either the driver's side or passenger seat and fits all makes and models. Just snap it on, slide it where it relieves the pressure, and drive away.
That sounds
the
like...
Teddy Bear stays where you want it.
It stays in place. It sounds like something that I would purchase.
I think I'm going to do a hard pass on that one.
The Titty Bear, Tiddy. Okay, this next one is called Doc Bottom's A Spray.
Okay.
A Spray.
A spray.
A Spray. Doc Bottom's A Spray.
Okay.
Are you suffering from pungent pits, foul feet, beastly butt odor? How do you stop the stink? Hi, I'm Adam J, and this is Doc Bottom's A Spray, the all-new, all-over deodorant.
Do you get it? The A Spray, what they're trying to go with?
Yeah.
A Spray.
Anywhere on your body. A Spray goes where other deodorants can't.
You can spray it on your
butt. A Spray your feet. A Spray under your arms. You can even A Spray your privates. A Spray is safe for all your odor zones. A Spray is 100% natural, chemical-free, fragrance-free, and offers 24-hour protection.
I can't make this up.
So what is it? Like, what's in this A Spray?
It's just like a spray deodorant that you can spray on, under your arms.
Or in between your legs.
In between your legs, just so you can take away that stink.
I just don't know if I want to put the same stuff in between my legs that I put under my arms.
You would think. You would think. Okay, Here's another one. This one's called the poo trap. Now, you have animals.
Yeah, I do.
And isn't it annoying when you're walking your dogs and they always like to stop and use the restroom? That's annoying, and you got to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. Well, here's something that you don't have to pick up after your dogs no more. This is from the poo trap.
Are you tired of taking your dog for a walk and picking up after their mess? Are you tired of using grocery bags or products that are heavy and not useful? It can get very messy when your pet goes in the house or on the sidewalk or even your neighbor's lawn. We have the answer for you. Introducing Poo Trap, an amazing new innovation that eliminates the need of picking up after your dog. Poo Trap is a unique new product that fits any size dog without any hassles.
It's about to tell you what it is.
Pets will love it too. It's easy to install on your dog and makes your walking experience fun.
You install it on your dog like a pouch, like a person who just had surgery.
Like a diaper?
Yeah, like a diaper.
Oops. Poo Trap is available.
No poops. No poops and no more whoops.
No poops, no whoops, because you want my dog to wear Pampers?
Yes.
You trying to sell me overpriced Pampers?
Yes. And who can forget the famous shake weight?
This is not a workout. This is a revolution. This is shake weight for men, and it's going to kick
What gets me about the shake weight is the noise that these men
in
make.
just 6 minutes. Guaranteed.
Okay, I'm good.
That's not real.
No, it's real. This is from the actual commercial. Take a listen.
Ordinary.
Let's take a listen.
Ordinary weights.
It's not a good sound.
I think they pulled that off a Ron Jeremy film or something like that.
But that is some of the examples of infomercials that I got the pleasure of hearing.
So basically, I think you're trying to tell me that my dogs go to the bathroom too much. You caught a whiff of me. I need the shake weight. And the Titty Bear, Tiddy Titty Bear, needs to be something I purchase. Okay. Shopping list complete.
I do miss infomercials. I always wanted to be the guy that called in and got something purchased. It didn't matter what it was. Carpet, vacuum cleaner. I didn't care. I wanted to call that number.
Yeah.
And mainly QVC. I know you remember QVC.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the live version of infomercials. You could call in and you could hear your voice on TV.
Yep.
That's something that I always wanted to do.
I have done that. My voice was not particularly the one that was on QVC, but my cousin used to love to prank call. And we sincerely were on QVC one time, and she was acting like an old man. And I was like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's no need. You just young people watch OVC or QVC as well.
Uh-huh.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take off-the-cuff Song of the Week break. It's a beautiful day outside, at least it is in Lexington, so roll down the windows and enjoy off-the-cuff Song of the Week break. We'll be right back after the song with a little Modest Mouse, Miss the Boat. Ian on the show thread, he says, check out the Tug Toner on YouTube on your off time. Absolutely hilarious.
What was that, the Tug Toner?
The Tug Toner. That just sounds dirty. There are a lot of infomercials that I'm sure we missed that we didn't talk about before we went to our Song of the Week break.
Oh, absolutely.
So if anybody can think of any that I missed, just throw them up on the show thread. I'd love to talk about them.
Could be a good time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got lots more off the cuff coming at you live after these words. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. We've been talking about graduation a lot over the last couple episodes, but this, Amber, I play this graduation theme, which is called Pomp and Stance. It is not being played right now because of graduation, but it is being played because of the one and only Macho Man Randy Savage. As I stated a couple weeks ago on Off the Cuff, A&E has been showing several different profiles of wrestlers. Mm-hmm. They've done a documentary over Stone Cold Steve Austin, which we talked about in the archives, and they did one over Rowdy Roddy Piper, and this latest one they did over the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah, do you dig it?
Slap into a Slim Jim.
Slap into a Slim Jim. I think that if you don't remember Macho Man from wrestling, you remember him from the Slim Jim commercials, don't you?
If you don't, I want to know what rock you were living under.
Yes. It's interesting that he chose this for his theme music, the graduation theme. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Macho chose graduation theme or if graduation theme chose Macho.
I would say graduation theme chose Macho.
The documentary, it showed a ton of things that I didn't know about Macho Man Randy Savage. He was a wrestler back in the 80s, so I didn't get to watch him while he was in his prime during a live show or anything like that. But I learned so much. He started off right here in Lexington. Mm-hmm. Did you know there used to be a wrestling promotion right here in Lexington called the ICW, International Championship Wrestling?
Wow, I did not know that.
Yes, International Championship Wrestling. It was right out of Lexington, Kentucky. It was owned by Macho Man's father. Yes, and it was considered the outlaw promotion because they didn't want to affiliate themselves with the NWA, and they promoted shows in direct competition against the NWA regional territories. Ooh. So one of the big rivals that Macho Man first had was with Jerry the King Lawler.
Okay.
So what happened was the Lexington promotion that Macho Man was at during the 80s, he used to call out Jerry Lawler to fight him.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you used to not call out people from different promotions. So this was really doing something edgy.
Going over the line.
And trailblazing. So yes, it was that rival that they talked about, which got the attention of the WWF ultimately, and put both of them in the WWF. So the wild man character, the ooh yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage, cream of the crop, where he used to just act like he was just a maniac.
Difficult.
Yes.
Having a difficult time breathing.
Yes. And try to do his voice
I can't. You know what? I got a weird throat thing anyways, and his voice bothers me.
Try to do his voice for a couple seconds. It burns your voice up. That whole character was inspired from a real-life living man. His name was Pampero Firpo, and they called him the Wild Man. And he used to sit around and talk about this and used to go, ooh, yeah, do you dig it? Yeah. And it also talked about Miss Elizabeth.
She's from Frankfort.
She is from Frankfort, Kentucky, for anyone who didn't know that. Miss Elizabeth, a legend in herself. It's a shame that she has not been put in the Hall of Fame. But we learned that she suffered from image issues. She was bulimic. Mm-hmm. She was very tiny on screen. It's very sad to hear that kind of stuff. Ultimately, we lost Miss Elizabeth due to accidental drug overdose, which was very bizarre that she died of a drug overdose. She was one to not ever do drugs. She only done it a couple of times. She did it with her new boyfriend, Lex Luger.
Gross.
And he didn't overdose, and she did, and she died just after doing drugs just a couple of times.
And we lost a beauty.
We did. I lost a wrestling, just original diva, the first lady of the WWF, people call her. The relationship between Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage was very complicated. You know, they got married on WWF TV. It was a fake wedding, but they got married. You know, when Stephanie and Triple H had their fake wedding, Macho Man and Elizabeth was the first to have a wedding.
What's with the WWF and these weddings?
Yes, and they got married. It was a true love story. And it was awesome because at the reception, Jake the Snake put a snake in one of Miss Elizabeth's gifts. So when she opened a gift, there was the snake.
There was a big old boa constrictor. Okay.
Yes. But you learn about the trouble that they had behind the scenes. When they were getting married on camera, they were actually broken up in real life.
Oh, wow.
And when they broke up, Macho was the one that got Elizabeth into the business, and when they broke up, he brought her back to the business when he went to WCW, because Macho Man left the WWF randomly because Vince made him into a announcer and said they're going with the youth movement, that his better days are past him.
Yeah.
And he made him an announcer, and Macho didn't like that. He didn't like announcing. He wanted to be a performer in the ring.
Yeah.
So he up and left WCW, and Vince didn't even know it. He didn't even know that he left. He was actually looking for Randy that night that they were supposed to go on and broadcast, because Vince and Macho did the broadcast together. And he said, "Has anybody seen Randy?" And they turned on the TV, and Randy was on WCW.
Wow.
They found out by turning on the TV because, you know, Raw and Nitro came on at the same time. So he came on the air. Vince said, "You will notice by his absence, Randy Savage is not here anymore, and I wish him well. Godspeed. Good luck, Randy, with everything." And Randy Savage took Elizabeth with him, and even though they weren't together, they stayed at the same company and wasn't even dating.
Yeah.
And
they had a great partnership, though.
For the most part, yes. I think they always loved each other.
Yeah.
I do. And you learn that both Elizabeth and Randy Savage, they not only did Elizabeth struggle with a little bit of drug use, but Randy Savage did too. It talks about him coming out high on during some matches and during some promos, and his former lover, Gorgeous George, not the male, but the female Gorgeous George, was there to talk about one of the times that they were really high off ecstasy. She said they loved to do ecstasy. And you know, Gorgeous George was his on-screen valet. Hogan said it best in the documentary. She plugged in what Miss Elizabeth unplugged.
Yeah.
And she gave him life. But it was it was one of those documentaries that really told a tragic story of somebody who was so great and who died so tragically. Because Macho Man, he died at a very young age, in his 50s, died of a heart attack while driving.
Wow.
He was driving with his then wife and had a heart attack, and he was veering off into oncoming traffic, and his wife just took control of the wheel, didn't know where to turn the car, and she turned it right into a tree. It hit the tree head on. She hardly got any injuries, but Randy was killed on the spot.
Wow.
And Randy passed away. It's always sad when you hear of professional wrestlers passing away. You know, I'm a big wrestling fan. Amber, you're a big wrestling fan. And I've got a list of the dead wrestlers that no longer exist. Now, these is just a list that I compiled of dead wrestlers who I feel like the audience will know.
Yeah.
And I want to read this list because I bet you that when I say some of these names, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that wrestler's dead? Because what's unique about these wrestlers' deaths is the fact that they die so young.
They die young, and when we look at them on screen, we think that they are just invincible, and then most of them die very, tragic health ailments.
Yes, and they're larger than life. These characters are larger than life. And they seem invincible, and to hear that they die at such young ages, it's shocking. But there's Gorilla Monsoon, who died at the age of 62. Now, these are only people that I'm saying that died from the 90s up.
Yeah.
They either died in the 90s and up, and these are popular people that I feel like you'll know. Gorilla Monsoon, of course, everybody knows the original play-by-play announcer for the WWF. He died at 62 years old, very young. Owen Hart, 34 years old, passed away accidentally trying to do a ring entrance from the rafters. Rick Rude died at 41 years old. The Junkyard Dog died at 45. Brian Pillman died at 35. There's actually a documentary out right now on him.
Yes, they released the full documentary today.
Yes,
I've seen that.
They released it today, so I'm excited to watch that second part. I already watched the first part. But that was Stone Cold Steve Austin's old tag team partner back in the day in WCW, Brian Pillman. Big John Studd died at 46. Andre the Giant, larger-than-life character and man, died at the age of 46. The Big Boss Man, one of my personal favorites, died at 42. Crash Holly died at 32.
Wow.
A year younger than I am. Road Warrior Hawk died at 46. Miss Elizabeth died at 42. Mr. Perfect died at 44. The British Bulldog died at 39. Yokozuna died at 38. Fabulous Moolah died at 84. Crispin Wall died at 40. Now, he was the guy who murdered his wife and then murdered himself. So he was he did a terrible thing. I don't want to say he was an overall terrible person because I don't know him and the life he lived, but he did a very terrible thing. Sherry Martell died at 49. Bam Bam Bigelow died at 45. The Earthquake died at 42. Eddie Guerrero died at 38. Jim Neihart, part of the Hart Foundation, died at 63. Vader died at 63. Bruno Sammartino died at 82. George the Animal Steel died at 78. Jimmy Snuka, 73. China died at the age of 45, the ninth wonder of the world.
God rest her soul.
Rowdy Roddy Piper died at 61. Dusty Rhodes died at 69. Ultimate Warrior died at 54. Big Daddy V, Viscera, he died at 42. Mae Young, 90. She was somebody who actually got to live out a long life. Just a couple more here. Doink the Clown died at 55. Paul Bear, yes, 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 Undertaker Kane, yes, died at 58. Of course, Randy Savage, we talked about, died at 58. And then finally, Luna Vachon died at 48. A lot of wrestlers gone too soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. We got one more segment to go here on Off the Cuff. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. Last segment of the hour. The NFL Draft is back. They just recently had it last Thursday. Right after we got off the air, they had the NFL Draft. A lot of UK players were drafted in the draft. Just a few takeaways that I had. We all knew that Trevor Lawrence from the... I'm trying to get my music to stop. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from Clemson in the ACC Conference, was the number one overall pick. He was the CFP Player of the Year. Can you imagine how many millions that guy signed? Do you know who I'm talking about when I say Trevor Lawrence?
No.
Looked like Triple H, had that long blonde hair.
No, but he sounds cute.
The number one overall pick.
And he's rich.
The SEC dominated as usual. That's a conference that's always been dominant in football. It led college football with 65 players being drafted out of the 259 total picks. That's the most by a single conference in the Common Draft era since 1967.
Wow.
So for anybody to say that the SEC is not the best football conference, you're silly. The previous record was 64, and that was held by the SEC just 2 years ago. And it was also a historical day for Alabama. The Crimson Tide, they showed out again. They drafted more players than any other college in football. They had 6 players selected in the first round. Waddle, Patrick Surtain II, Mac Jones, Alex Leatherwood, Najee Harris. That tied with 2004 Miami's record for the single school that drafted the most in the first round. But really, what I want to talk about is the UK players that were drafted in the draft. You got to think, back before Mark Stoops, not many people were going in the NFL draft.
From Kentucky? No.
No. It was something that you tuned in, and it was really a big deal when you knew a Kentucky player was good enough to get drafted. You couldn't wait for it. Now, it's almost expected.
Yeah.
So you got to give Mark Stoops credit where credit is due. He is recruiting talent that is good enough to play in the pros. He is.
At least he's good at doing something.
I agree. And look at Amber coming out swinging.
Oh.
Usually it's me talking crap about Mark Stoops, and here she is.
Hey, look what you did to me.
Well, let's talk about the UK players that got drafted in the first round, going the 19th pick. Jamin Davis, linebacker. He went to Washington. Round 2, pick 44. Kelvin Joseph, he's a cornerback. He went to the Dallas Cowboys. In round 6, pick 195, Quentin Bohanna is a defensive line. He went to the Dallas Cowboys. In round 6, pick 200, New York Jets, Brandon Eccles. He's a DB. He went to the New York Jets. Round 6, pick 206, Landon Young went to the New Orleans Saints. He's an offensive lineman. And finally, in round 7, pick 232 was Phil Hoskins. He's a defensive line, and he went to the Carolina Panthers. A lot of players in the UK draft.
His name's Phil?
Yeah.
You don't really meet too many men under the age of 50 named Phil, do you?
You don't meet many people under the age of 50 named Virgil either, if we're talking about that. I one time met a man named Virgil, and it really took me off guard because he was only 21.
Oh, no. I would not be able. I'd be like, son, I can't call you that.
Well, it's like meeting a woman named Gladys, and she's 16.
And she's 16.
Like, hey, you going for your license, Gladys? You excited?
You going to go home and string some green beans later?
But yes, Phil. He did. Yes, Phil. And a lot of players got drafted there. And I do have to say that it's something that I did not expect. But you got to give credit to where credit is due. Good job, Mark Stoops.
Oh, Lord. Yes.
Yes. Good job to all the players.
I think Hades is froze over. Adam said something nice about Mark Stoops.
All right, folks, before we go, really quick, I want to make mention of something really cool happening in Lexington. Mm-hmm. There is a court show.
What?
That's going to be happening in Lexington at the old movie theater on Codell Drive. It's been vacant for around 5 years, and they turned it into a bunch of different little studios. And one of the studios that they built, they're going to convert into a courtroom studio. A new show is going to be filmed there called Relative Justice, and it's premiering this fall, and its aim is to pull back the curtain on family disputes. It's a live courtroom TV show. It is going to be producing 150 episodes this season, and listen at this. It got picked up. I read here where it got picked up somewhere. I'm trying to find it. Oh, here we go. It got picked up by 43 different stations, 50 media markets in the country, meaning it will be available to over 85% of homes in the country.
Wow.
So it's a show that's going to be nationally syndicated.
Okay.
It's a big deal. They said it's going to be produced by the same people who produce Judge Joe Brown, Nancy Grace, and Divorce Court. So we're getting a legitimate court show, folks, here in Lexington. Mm-hmm. A legitimate court show.
I am literally so excited to see and think about all the people I'm going to see on this show.
Rhonda Willis is going to be the judge for this show. She is an actual real judge. Yes, I'm excited to see the people that we are going to see because it is filmed in Lexington. You know that we are going to see people we know. We just are.
I know. You better watch out. You might see me on there.
Well, people will do anything to get on TV, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
We've got years and years of daytime talk shows that prove that.
Yes. I mean, it don't matter. And that's why those shows still could stay on the air, Sally, Ricky. Mm-hmm. They could always stay on the air and because they knew they could get guests because it was an opportunity to be on TV. It didn't matter how foolish you looked, people still want to get on TV.
Well, yeah, it's a talking point.
It's the same thing for this show. They're going to look silly. They're going to be squabbling with their family, with their cousin, their uncle, mama, poppy, bubby, sissy. But people don't care because they get to be on TV. Look, Mommy, I'm on TV.
Look, Mom, we going to go fight each other, but look, I'm on TV.
But they wanted to put it in Lexington because it was in the central spot for a lot of people from the Knoxville area. They said Michigan area, Ohio area to all come and be on the show. So they are accepting cases, so you can go to their website. Just Google whatever their website is, and you can apply to be on the show. They're still accepting applications for people. And you have a good shot.
Yeah.
You have a really good shot of getting your case heard on shows like this because if you don't get on when you want, you'll be put on a waiting list. You'll eventually get put on within the next month or two.
Oh, yes.
Because they film, usually shows like that, they film 5 or 6 episodes in a day.
Yep.
And it's cool. It is expected to create an estimated 300 jobs in Lexington.
Wow.
And supposed to boost the economy in Lexington by $10 million.
Well, hey.
So I'm all about it.
I can get down with that.
I'm all for that. But ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps up another episode of Off the Cuff. I want to thank you for listening. You can check out all of our previous broadcasts by subscribing to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks on podcast. Our podcast is available wherever you can find it, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU 93.9. You can follow my co-host Amber at Ambu447 on social media. You can follow me, the host, at The Adam Banks on social media. You can follow Off the Cuff on Facebook and Instagram at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. That is Amber Turner. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next Thursday from 4 to 5.